And for sure, it's going to be a grail, a holy grail for a lot of people. And the beautiful thing about legacy, kasi it just grows. Kasi, I mean, it's within us that, we don't stop working. We keep on working. We're never contented. And the legacy is the path you leave behind, right?
When you look back at it, parang doon mo marirealize kasi in your career, what you leave behind, kung what made it more fulfilling. Is it the accolades? Is it the money that you get? Could also be the people you meet. But to me, yung real mission ko kasi is to go as far as I can so the rest could go further.
Siguro not a lot of people would know that the competition between the two of us lasted up until we graduated. Kasi parang, of course, nakikita nila the comparison, etc., the numbers. Pero personally, we would always bring up our best games, worst games, how many championships do you have? I don't have no finals MVP. You have 3 things na would still be salty in my eyes, in my life. But now, it brought the best between the two of us. Kasi of course, since naglalaro sa college, I couldn't go back to college. I had to do it somewhere else. I had to do it in another way.
Yeah, tsaka very unspoken yung parang quote-unquote rivalry natin na alam natin, there's always that parang barrier ba? I don't know if it's a barrier, there's a bubble na nandun na nag-exist lagi. Even, masasabi ko kahit after natin mag-graduate, medyo nandun pa rin siya. Feel ko lang nawala na lang siya very recently, I'd say.
I felt like we outgrew the competition in a way that we just both wanted us to succeed.
Yeah. Parang
ganun na lang na parang I want to see you eat too.
Yeah.
Get your money, get whatever.
Yeah.
You deserve all the accolades as well. And push each other to be better pa rin. Di ba?
Yeah.
So, I feel like that's how the environment we grew up in pushed us to be
Shaped
us. Wherever we are right now and whichever part of the world we're playing right now. So, that's, I would say, props to the parents.
Yeah, of course. Mama and Papa,
to
shout out.
the head of the household.
Tsaka, ang hirap din sa position ko kasi lagi lang akong humahabol sa'yo nun eh. I mean, you were the one getting all the accolades tapos ako yung younger brother, the other Ravena. So, nung time ko, para hindi ko man lang sinusubukan to surpass, it's just to keep up. Alam mo yun, parang naging ganun siya sa akin growing up. But then, yun din yung nag-drive sa akin to, be the best version of myself, especially when Coach Tab, nung pumasok si Coach Tab and we talked about it, parang dun din nag-iba yung perspective ko na don't try to chase kung ano man yung accolades ng iba. Kasi alam kong nandyan si Papa mo tsaka si Manong. English to of course. Pero just try to be the best version of yourself every day. And yun din yung reason kung bakit I guess I'm here.
I guess pressure was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger as the more it gets passed on. Kasi nung ako lumalaki ako, the pressure was about being able to be like my dad. Diba? Parang ganun palagi. That was the pressure. Up until nung, si Kiefer marunong na mag-basketball, could he surpass his dad? Ganun na. Parang nag-grow on lang siya na nag-grow on. Now, here comes Thirdy na kaya niya bang, diba? Parang, and si Kiefer magaling din. Kaya niya kayang pantayan, kaya niya lagpasan. But, nandun pa si Papa.
Yeah.
So, that's how pressure was. And again, brought the best of us as well. I'm sure it didn't come right away for you since you started basketball a little late. So the pressure was big all of a sudden. Nung nakita ka na nila na after mo mag-MVP on your senior year in high school, parang the pressure was there right away as soon as you entered college.
Yun nga, parang baliktad eh. Kasi yung pressure dumating nung nakuha ko yung goal na yun na never kong naisip
No,
makukuha.
kasi it was just a ticking time bomb for you na syempre at the start hindi naman nila nakita na you were taking, I mean, ako, personally, my perspective, you were taking basketball seriously. You were trying other sports. That's why the pressure with basketball for you wasn't really there. Pero when you locked in and then all of a sudden it was there, I think dun mo namulat na okay, this is how it is. Unlike sa akin, it grew gradually na medyo napaghandaan ko yung sarili ko for that. And unfortunately for you, after the first year, di ba, parang mahirap for that na ganun yung in-expect ng tao na kaagad.
Yeah.
Di ba?
Ang laki din ng pressure na ibibigay lalo na pag nag-MVP ka, let's say, in the regular season. Transitioning from high school to college. Kasi laking transition ng high school to college. Yun nga, just to go back to what I said earlier, yung sinabi ni Coach Tab na this is verbatim. Pressure shouldn't come from you trying to be like your dad or your brother. The pressure should be on yourself and trying to be the best player that you can possibly be. So yung perspective na yun na binigay niya sa akin, it made me realize that pressure is actually a privilege. So yun nga, nakita ko siya as a privilege na may ini-expect yung mga tao sa akin, na may ini-expect ako sa sarili ko. So naging ganun yung outlook ko, and once I changed that outlook, that's when I kind of had an understanding na kaya. Kasi before I would always shy away. I wasn't really the player who would take that last shot. But then when I had that perspective, doon ko siya nakita as a positive thing instead of a negative one. So shout out Coach Tab. Love you.
I played basketball for 27 years. Of course, not competitively for 27 because I started playing basketball at 4. Parang at an early age, I feel like I was molded into that direction. You know, as my younger brother, I think he saw it firsthand. If there was a basketball hanging in the horizon, I was just looking there.
Yeah, tunnel vision.
Parang ganun talaga siya. And there was really no distraction for me among other things on what I wanted to do in life but basketball. Kasi parang at a young age, I feel like I devoted myself and I was really obsessed with getting better.
And really learning and like understanding the sport.
Yes, exactly. Being a sponge, being able to educate myself to the highest level possible,
Yeah.
and immersing myself into different styles of basketball. Kahit nung bata pa lang ako, I was very fortunate to actually, be part of the national team from the get-go. Simula nung 12 years old ako, 13 years old ako. In a way na I was able to travel the world through basketball. And one, it helped me see how basketball is played in different countries. Two, probably opened my eyes to the opportunities where hopefully I could play one day. And three, just look at what's missing in maybe in our style of play, in my style of play, personally, individually, and of course maybe as a country. So the student in me just kept on growing and growing and growing. It made me really hungry as years go on by, and the more I understood basketball, the more I wanted to learn. So in my case, ganun yung obsession ko with with basketball.
Yeah, so hyper obsession kasi growing up nakita ko kung paano mo inaral not just basketball itself, not just the sport, but the ins and outs, the system, how the management goes, how to be a good veteran, picking all the veterans' brains. Yun yung difference natin, I guess. With me, I just hoop. At the end of the day, I don't really think about basketball after I play. I think about other things. But with you, yun nga yung biggest difference natin. Because I feel like I'm just a hooper. I just go there, do my thing, and then go out, and then I'm about my day. So, ganun nga yung difference.
Pero ano naman yun, I think that's how you feel kasi obviously you know yourself more than anybody. But outside looking in, I think people don't really see the hard work, the time, the dedication, and sacrifice you have to put in to be where you are, considering you started playing basketball second, third year high school. Diba? So I think that's a feat in itself, and that's a very small percentage in this world that could actually do that. Siguro, to my point, it's not just about, when you started or if you started out young, but it's still the hard work that's put in behind the scenes, the sleepless nights, the cliche of unseen hours, and
6 a.m.
and
grind.
and just loving and being obsessed with what we do
Yeah.
to achieve your goal. At the end of the day, we're all hoopers. Kahit sinong basketball player ang interviewin mo dyan, we just hoop, hoop, hoop. But deep in ourselves, it's not just about hoop. We prepare, we set aside sometimes our families, our
Most of the
loved
time,
ones,
actually.
most of the
Yeah.
time, our loved ones, our social lives, our hobbies, 'di ba? Our relationships for basketball. So, you may look at it as just playing basketball, but I mean, you will be the first one to deny that we're just out here to put on shoes and play basketball, diba? So,
Yeah. Well, yun nga, yung hard work, I guess, is something that I think that's my biggest asset. Yun nga yung hindi rin alam ng mga tao na with how much I grind, how much I work, even though I don't think about basketball, I'm obsessed with the work. I always like showing up. I always like working out and being able to try and get better at one thing, and then when I feel like I'm good at that, try to get better at another thing. It's really just the obsession on getting better. Then, so siguro yun nga din yung nagdala sa atin, both of us, kung saan man tayo. Of course, as kids, di ba, pangarap naman natin lagi mag-NBA. But I never saw myself trying to work to that goal. I was always just obsessed with getting better every day and just showing up. Kasi yun yung in-enjoy ko. In-enjoy ko yung trabaho. Hindi ko masyado finocus yung destination. Kahit nung high school ako, hindi ko alam kung saan ako maglalaro nun, hindi ko pa iniisip. But just try to play really well year by year, and I really didn't expect anything. In my senior year, I was set on getting drafted, trying to play a good year para makakuha ko magandang position sa draft. Those types of opportunities, I guess, dumadating na lang, and being ready when that opportunity arrives is also another thing. Dahil nga napaghirapan ko na rin, I was able to work hard for the last couple years. Dumating na lang siya, and I would say na I was ready for it. So destination-wise, I wasn't as specific, but I was just more on just obsessed with working.
ako naman siguro from the get-go, I really wanted to play in the NBA. That's why I really gave my shot right after college.
Yeah.
Parang yun talaga yung goal ko eh. Parang I just wanted to give myself a chance whether or not I make it. So I think if there was one goal that I set from the start, it was the NBA. I mean, of course, the family knows that. And, I wouldn't say unfortunately it didn't happen, but it was one of those situations where maybe wrong timing and things like that. But at the end of the day, I still benefited from it. Career-wise, I learned a lot from just being out there competing. Yung naipagsapalaran ka lang sa mga taong nangangarap din tulad ng pangarap mo, di ba? So that's when I actually understood how difficult the grind is and how many people want to be in your position.
Would kill to be in your position too. With that.
That's why you just never take things for granted. Yun nga, parang ever since, the dream was just to be in the NBA, and it's funny how life works out I didn't get to fulfill that dream of mine. But, you know, 10 years down the road, here I am entering a room full of people I idolize. 'Di ba? Parang an opportunity just came in there that I was invited into the Board of Greatness, being the first Filipino to be part of Jumpman, Jordan Brand. I remember just waking up to an email with an invitation. I think this was towards the end of the season of last year, wherein one of the head people in Jordan Brand reached out to me and sent me an invitation about Board of Greatness, saying that these are the dates. This will be in Athens, Greece, and who will be there. And of course, at the bottom, it was signed by Michael Jordan. So, parang di ako naniniwala. Kasi kakagising ko lang nun eh. So, it was the perfect timing to actually have a genuine reaction to it. Just being shocked. And of course, the first person I sent it to, my now wife Diana, sent it to her, and I actually didn't get the reaction. Obviously, she didn't know about it. It was just an invitation for her. And then I sent it to Mama and to you guys and to the family, and then you had one of the reactions talaga na
Tinawagan mo ako nun, FaceTime mo ako nun.
ng all
Naalala
caps
ko.
and everything. Sabi ko sa kanya, teka, tawagan kita. Papakita ko sa'yo para makita ko yung reaction mo.
Parang ako yung naalimpungatan nung tinawagan mo ako.
Oo, parang ganon. Kasi ever since, syempre, early 90s ako pinanganak, 93 ako pinanganak. I was able to catch the tail end of Michael Jordan's career and how he was a cultural difference when it comes to basketball. Mindset-wise, playing-wise, I'm there seeing him face to face, Shuki-san, talk to him, being able to share a room with people I just dreamt of being with and watched, idolized. So, as a Jordan Brand ambassador, and that's one heaven of an experience. But as a hooper, as a basketball fan, I don't think there's another way you could top that experience.
Simple. You can't.
Yeah, diba? Parang everything from now on after that, as a basketball fan, it's gonna
Wala
be
na.
mahirap
Oo,
itop.
mahirap na.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people could say that.
Na honestly, in my lifetime, I was able to meet LeBron, talk to LeBron, play against him, meet Kobe, have a photo with Kobe, have my shoe signed.
Meet him 3 times.
Yeah,
Yun nga.
yeah, I was carried by Kobe. And now, nakilala ko si Michael Jordan, shared a couple of minutes talking to him and just being in his family and under his, brand. There's big responsibilities that comes with it, and I'm pretty much ready for those responsibilities to be able to represent the brand on and off the court, of course.
And nakalimutan mo may PE ka rin. So, I guess that's
PE.
that's crazy.
Sa Holy Grail exclusive.
Yeah. To be able to have a claim that my brother has his own PE is
Hindi niya nga ginagamit eh.
Crazy.
Sabi ko sa kanya, gamitin niya eh.
pero hindi ko talaga siya gagamitin. Just so you know, I'm keeping that for life. Naalala ko kasi nung pandemic, I had a lot of time to think about, lalo na nung lockout, about like branding wise with my best friend Van. That's the year I launched my logo. Tiningnan namin ko ano ba yung goal, like what's the goal of your branding. The number one goal kinompare namin is kay Go Island, yung magkaroon ka ng sarili mong PEs. Because I feel like once we achieve that goal, yeah, I mean, we did what we wanted to do. So we talked about that, and now seeing you have your own piece, it's a surreal feeling. Parang ako yung nanalo.
That was the idea.
Not a bad thing na masasabi mo may sarili kang piece sa Jordan.
Not too shabby.
Pwede na. sinabi ko nga kanina na I'm not really one to have a destination in mind when it comes to basketball. I was just obsessed with the work and I just wanted to show up. And I think the work took care of itself. I think it was before senior year when one of Coach Tab's former national team players, Coach Paul Henare, minessage siya na magbubukas yung Asian quota player for Japan, and he was thinking of getting me on his team. Back then he was in the second division, pero si Coach Tab nung time na yun parang sinabi niya tatapusin muna niya yung season and let's see, then we can talk after that. So kahit ako yung mindset ko lang noon, I wasn't even thinking about Japan even though my offer na siya. I just wanted to win a championship. So being that guy who just wants to show up, I just wanted to work hard and get that championship, the last championship before I left. Nung nag-champion na and then got the MVP, nagkaroon pa ng press awarding noon, and then tinanong nila kung saan ako pupunta. And then I expressed na may offer ako sa Japan, some second or third division league in Europe and potentially Australia. Pero dun lang lumabas lahat. That's when media picked up and then Japanese teams called. Next thing I know, I was set on going to Japan for Neo Phoenix. And then stayed there for 4 years. Eventually got an offer for Dubai. Even then, I wasn't even focused on where I'm gonna play next. The opportunities just sort of came with good timing. Kasi yun lang yung kakatapos ng 3-year extension ko. Tapos biglang nagkaroon sila ng opportunity sa Dubai na gagawa sila ng bagong team. And then it was another leap of faith for me kasi nga first time na naman gagawin yung team. It could always go both ways, you know. And sobrang swerte lang na it all fell into place. I guess it went better than expected, to be honest. And then next thing you know, EuroLeague na. So it's a funny sequence. Kasi nga yun, I guess it all works in perfect timing. And it's just a matter of being ready for that moment when it's there. Pag tinawag ka nila, because a lot of people don't realize their opportunities unless it's past. So, or if you're not ready for it and then you don't get that opportunity. So, naswertehan din lang, and then ironically, I became quote-unquote Mr. Trailblazer for the country.
Yeah, I think if there's like somebody, if all the players going overseas, I think if there's one person that you guys have to tip your hat to or say thank you to, it's him. It's not necessarily, us who followed the path. It was him, not just only opening the doors, but I feel like the story goes beyond the opportunity eh. Kasi yung lakas ng loob, yung pwede mong ma-share sa ibang tao na kaya pala. Kasi yung offers, nandyan naman na yan eh. Parang if teams want you, obviously, there will be offers. It's gonna be easier to take opportunities and offers if you see somebody like you who became very successful with the risk he took. Parang malaking bagay yun, especially sa mga taong, nangangarap lang din kasi pwede ka namang maging pangarap yan forever. But then up until we see somebody who was actually dreaming, who took the risk and succeeded, I have to find the recipe for that. What's the blueprint? And that's the story you were able to tell a lot of kids, the next generation of basketball players who want to go overseas.
With you mentioning that, parang pwede rin natin siyang tawaging Holy Grail. Not because of how far we've gone, but yun nga, yung legacy that you leave behind, na you inspire a generation of players to try and pursue whatever it is or wherever they want to play, na binigyan mo sila ng lakas ng loob. So I would say that could also be a Holy Grail for me.
And for sure, it's going to be a grail, a holy grail for a lot of people. And the beautiful thing about legacy kasi it just grows. Kasi, I mean, it's within us that we don't stop working. We keep on working. We're never contented, and the legacy is the path you leave behind, right? So the more you keep on going forward, the legacy just continues. That's the most beautiful thing about leaving a legacy. It's not just about one thing. So tayo pa rin, we don't stop. We still continue to aspire people to follow the trail and make new ways. So, it's not just us moving in front of them. There will come a time where they will be beside us.
Yeah. Or
Diba?
even further.
And then there will become a time that they'll move further. Then that's the moment we stop. That's the moment the legacy stop, and then you see that legacy flourish in front of you. And I think sometimes we don't take advantage of that fact, diba? So
Yeah. And yun nga, looking back, when you look back at it, parang dun mo marirealize kasi in your career, what you leave behind, kung what made it more fulfilling. Is it the accolades? Is it the money that you get? Could also be the people you meet. But to me, yung real mission ko kasi is to go as far as I can so the rest could go further. So for me, it's always about representing. I love to represent the country wherever I am, with whatever I wear or with where I play. I always love to bring the Philippines and try and put the Philippines out there as much as I can. So when we talk about legacy, hopefully the legacy we leave behind is something that would go on and hopefully flourish. Tulad nga na sinabi mo na mas marami pang makakarating na mas malayo, and that would make me the happiest or most fulfilled in terms of career.
the journey going through, leaving is always the hardest part, especially for us. Uprooting yourself and immersing yourself into a different culture is the hardest part. Just because sometimes you don't know where to start, diba? But with basketball, I think the first thing we had to do was we had to understand why we're doing this. We had to have that self-talk within us na bakit ka ba ginagawa to? Para saan ba to? Diba? So, the sooner you get to answer that, I feel like the easier you'll get to settle down with the choices you make. Kasi syempre, of course, once you know the answers to that, the commitment and the willingness to fully dive in to the decision you took is gonna be easier. Kasi alam mo, one way or the other, you have to make it work.
Yeah.
Diba? So,
You gotta have a big why. So, kahit anumang problema dumating dyan, that's what you would always look back on kung bakit mo ginagawa yung ginagawa mo. So, it's always the purpose that drives you to work hard every day, that makes you strong during the times na mahirap.
and yun din yung sinasagot natin, di ba? Obviously, we've done this for 5 years now, di ba? And every time, it would come to a point wherein we would ask questions na bakit nandito pa ba ako? Our main voice of reason is our whys.
Wise. It's always the wise. So with me, winning, of course, I thought about it a lot when I went to Japan. I told myself na kung saan team man ako mapunta, I would always try my best to be able to carry that team to a win. I want to be a big part of that team on why they win and on why we have a winning culture. But that kind of shifted when I went to Dubai and saw how many great players they have before me in my position. So yung mindset ko nun sa Dubai is how I can prove myself to the coaches, to the players, kung paano ako mabibigyan ng oras sa game And that starts with practice. Not even during the games, it's always about showing up in practice. So for me, yung kahit di ako masyado hindi talaga ako naglaro sa B.League naman. We only had 30 games and all the players were healthy. So mas madali maka-recover compared to sa Japan where we have 60. So for me, the games are the practices. The practice is my chance to prove myself to the coaches and to the players every day. So ang naging mindset ko noon is to be able to show up to practice and play the best that I can. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Hopefully, I'll be able to play a little bit more this year. But now that we're entering the Euro League, it's gonna be an even bigger competition. It's gonna be the biggest challenge of my life, but kind of got used to taking that leap of faith and just making the competition stronger and going to a stronger competition every time. So now I'm very excited for that. And let's see. I mean, with the players that we have, I think I can learn a lot, and hopefully I learn fast enough during the preseason and season for me to be able to prove to the coaches that I belong and that I deserve to get minutes.
Yeah, I think when it comes to obsession, I think winning kasi tells a lot on how you are as a person. Tells you more about how you are as an athlete, I would say. There will always be this argument with the great players, who's better than who, but who's got more rings than who, things like that. So winning will always come into factor, and I feel like if you're not obsessed with winning, I don't really have much, I would say, lack of a better term, respect to you, especially in this craft we're in, wherein it's always just about winning and losing. So malaking factor for me, that obsession for winning. Of course, you get to understand, as soon as you get older, that somebody will really win, somebody will really lose. That's the nature of basketball. But losing should feel differently. Should have an ick to you. And I feel like when you have that, there's just so much room for improvement, so much room for growth. So I guess just being that obsessed with winning to the point wherein a lot of people actually misunderstand you. Di ba? Na parang sa sobrang gusto mong manalo, gusto mo ikaw. Di ba? Kasi gusto mo talagang manalo na gagawin mo lahat. Di ba? So, you develop a lot of people that saying na, he just wants himself, he's selfish, this and that. And personally, I've gone through that, especially when I was in college. But all I wanted to do was win for our school. But, people still get to misinterpret your drive for winning into a negative stuff, and then you develop a lot of haters, a lot of bashers that would pull you down even further. And yeah, I mean, sometimes it gets to a point wherein we say that we're not affected, but sometimes it really ticks you off, especially when you're not really doing anything wrong. Yun lang yung mahirap dun sa ganung part. But again, you try to find that understanding na these are people who do not who are not worthy
You
of
can
the
put it as blunt
energy,
as you want.
diba? Parang they're not worthy with your energy and things like that. So that's one thing I learned growing up, and as I mature even more, not to spend a lot of energy with them.
Yeah, I think it comes with age.
So damn, I'm old.
No, it's true. Kasi ako din, growing up naman, ang dami naman talaga nagsabi na ikaw lang yung kapatid ni Kiefer, na dyan ka lang kasi tatay mo si Bong, kapatid mo si Kiefer and all that. And I was always affected by it. To the point na every after a game, if I have a bad game no high school or college, I would even Twitter myself to see what people have to say about me. And then I would take the comments personally. And then I realized it came to a point na it really didn't matter. At the end of the day, people will always have something bad to say about you.
Actually, sa amin dalawang mas nauna siyang makaintindi nung ganung factor. Even before na mas siya pa yung titingin sa akin na gano'n na parang talaga bang naniniwala ka sa sinasabi nila. So, siya yung mas nakaintindi sa amin nun. Ako, it took a while. Just because medyo extremes yung mga nangyari sa akin.
Yeah.
Na,
Understandably.
na ganun. So, there was a lot of trauma to it, I would say, mixed into it. Not just the sport.
Yeah.
But in life in general. So that's why, it was really hard for me to detach to that stigma into understanding that it didn't really matter what they said.
Yeah, and I think it's, of course, harder on your end because with me, I only had to worry about basketball. And I kind of started a little bit earlier too, dun sa mga haters. But then, yun nga, marirealize mo lang na, sorry, sino ba sila? Alam mo yun na ikaw yung nagtatrabaho araw-araw, hindi naman sila yung gumigising ng 5 a.m. to work out 4 times a day in the off-season para magpagaling, tapos sisirain mo yung sarili mo dahil may isa lang na bad trip sa isang play or you didn't make the winning shot, pero may magkaroon ka ng masamang tournament kasi hindi kayo lahat handa, pero kayo yung sasabihan kasi kayo yung pros, should be the leaders of the team. Pero ganun talaga. I mean, people always have something bad to say about you, whether you're doing good or bad.
And sometimes it's inevitable din, especially most of the time you're put in the wrong position or wrong situation.
A lot.
Na hindi mo naman talaga ginusto. Kaya unfortunately, nangyayari yun. But, look at us now. For me, I think also for you, I think going overseas was probably one of the best decisions, if not the best decisions we've made as basketball players and as brothers. The hard part is, just being away with family. But again, the easy part is, it's always accessible. We have the, resources for that. And, swerte naman tayo na malapit lang yung Japan nung time na yun. But going overseas allowed us to bring out the hoopers in us. Not think about anything, just play basketball, have some peace into developing and growing our careers into being better athletes and better people. That's why I get to say that that's probably one of the best decisions we've ever made.
Yeah, and true. I mean, to me, ako masasabi ko rin na I think that's the best decision I've made, not just in my professional career but in life as well. Kasi yung number of lessons that you can learn and realizations na makukuha mo once you're away from where you're used to all your life, that's when you realize that the world is so much bigger than you think. Ang daming lessons na makuha doon, and ang dami ring players na pwede mong matatanungan, madaming magtuturo
sa'yo. Pag mag-isa ka, pag mafo-force ka talagang mag-grow mafo-force ka talaga. So, it's inevitable na hindi ka mag-mature, kasi yung mga kasabay mo, professionals din talaga in their own rights. They've been doing this for a decade now. And at the same time, pati yung mga bata na makakasama mo, marami ka rin matututunan sa kanila. So, it's a good mix of everything. And then that's why I would say it just brought so much peace to us because, well, one, nung una, hindi pa naman ganun ka-accessible yung B.League sa Filipino basketball fans compared to now na nakakapanood na sila with, different live streaming services and things like that. Pero before na hindi pa nila tayo masyado napapanood, parang kahit pangit yung laro ko, parang wala masyadong pumapansin. Okay lang,
actually, that's the best part no
diba? Nung pandemic pa, diba? Kasi wala pa talagang nanonood. So, but then again, it shows how basketball can grow quickly. Ngayon may access na tayo. Ngayon, the B.League promotes the Filipino players through events, through the All-Star Games, diba? The Asian Rising Stars.
You gotta shout B.League out for that.
They were always looking out for us.
Took care of us like their own.
That's the best thing probably in the league, growth. They want the best for their players. They don't hold anybody back. They want players to go overseas.
In fact, they encourage them.
They let them go to to the G League, to the
Yeah.
NBA.
They make
And
ties.
yeah, exactly,
Just,
exactly. I mean, you make ties with different leagues, but at the end of the day, you try to hold them back by doing something. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really different. So,
Yeah.
I don't know where you want to go with that, but with the B League, the growth is exponential.
Yeah.
In terms of how they would develop one their players, two their league, and three the opportunities they give to overseas players, not just Asian, but of course, you see the growth of not just American imports. You see the growth of European imports coming into the B League,
From the Euro League.
from the Euro League,
Yeah,
from
it's
the
crazy.
ACB. Players from Partizan, players from high level
Baskonia.
Greece. Baskonia,
So,
and the NBA, of course, diba? So, I mean, that's just the growth, and probably the the other part of peace that we were able to achieve was just being in the league with the same vision as you, in a way na gusto mo kasing gumaling eh.
and they also wanna
'Di ba? And sila din
be
gusto
better
nila,
as a
and
league.
they would always, even the people from the B League would always ask me, what do you think we could still do and things like that. They would ask us every now and then,
Always
especially
seeking feedback.
especially especially when it comes to the All-Star games, kasi doon lang tayo nagsasama-sama. So, malaking bagay
Yeah.
yun. Malaking bagay yun
Tsaka
na,
makikita mo na they have that growth mindset.
yeah.
Na gusto talaga nila umasenso. Not just the league, but the players. They try to do whatever they can para ma-push pa yung boundary. How can we make the league? How can we make the league more competitive? How can we make the league bigger in Japan? How can we incorporate Asia in the league? And look at them now. They have their own in the NBA with Yuki. Like a full Japanese, like a legitimate Japanese point guard na talagang
People
marami
can
silang
relate
ganyan.
to.
Yeah, marami silang ganyan sa Japan. And now he's in the NBA.
I think it's just, you see the development of their players as well through their national team.
Yeah.
How
Palakas lang ng palakas yung
diba?
national team nila.
Competition is just there. So, we're in a good spot, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes without explanation. Of course, that's already the Euro League. So, but just for us, also you being there from the start and us being there now, parang makikita mo yung growth nila as a league. So, which actually challenges you to be better, because now rules are getting more open. Now there's like 3 or 4 Lebanese,
Middle Eastern
Lebanese,
imports
Asian imports
as an
coming
Asian.
in. So the landscape will change. Now you have to be on your toes. You can't just be when it comes to Asian imports, it's always just gonna be the Filipinos. No,
Not
yeah,
anymore.
so it's gonna be there. The Japanese market organizations have taken notice of other talents from other countries as well. So it's a challenge, but a challenge we're willing to, embrace.
Yeah, because it keeps you on your toes, keeps you not complacent, stops you from relaxing where you are, and just to have that continuous growth mindset, which always ends up in being better for both the league and the players. So that's what happens. Shit, nakalaro ko na si Milos Teodosic.
If there's one thing I'm still chasing, I would say siguro individually, I would really want to get that most impressive Asian quota player award. Just because, as I said earlier, the competition is getting tougher and tougher. 2 years ago it was you. Last year it was Ray. I feel like that's what I want to tick off in my bucket list when it comes to an individual competitor in the B League. Just because I'm not getting any younger. I feel like chances are getting slimmer and slimmer. But it's not Kiefer without any challenge. I would say na I'm willing to put myself through And then we was just talking about it. We talked about locking in. So I guess this is
For
the
a whole
year
year.
that I actually have to and will commit to it. So that's why, that's one thing I would want to tick off the bucket list.
There's one, parang, ang hirap eh. Maglalaro na ako sa EuroLeague. So, I mean, just being on that court, I feel like it's already a big tick.
Or would it be an international championship? That's probably one thing that you haven't had.
Yeah. I guess.
Kasi you were close to it last year. You were already in the semis, game
playoffs
3,
against
diba?
Partizan.
Diba,
Yeah.
game 3 na yun, diba?
We actually had that game too.
And
It
diba,
was-
semis na kayo noon, game 3 against a favored team.
We had the chance to win
And
that
I felt
game.
like kung sino man yung nakalaban yun ng finals, kaya nyo
It
yun
would
eh.
have been, yeah.
Oo,
Yung
kaya nyo.
championship was the semis.
Yeah, diba?
And we were so close to winning that. But of course, an international championship in Europe also would be great. I don't know. To be honest, sobrang overwhelmed lang ako na nakarating ako dito and without even thinking of...
No, I don't blame you for saying EuroLeague is already ticked off because, if I was 27, I would have tried that opportunity as well, if there's a chance. But yeah, I would agree, as both of us are big basketball fans and EuroLeague fans. So just
And-
being there, it's just like,
Grabe. Surreal kasi from high school, kompleto ko na lahat ng highlights ni Milos Teodosic. Feel ko natapos ko lahat ng highlights niya maybe like 10 times each.
and sinabi ko din sa'yo na sobrang EuroLeague fans namin kasi sabi ko sa kanya, ako kahit sinong player, medyo okay lang, steady lang ako, pero I want...
Campazzo.
Hindi, sabi ko sa kanya, gusto kong picture with Saras. Coaches na to.
Yeah.
Head coaches itong mga to. Si Saras, si
Abramovich.
Ataman, si Obradovic, si Dushko,
Yushko.
tsaka si... I don't know. Pag nakalaban niya siguro... I don't know. I think he's not there anymore. Si Luca Banchi is not coach of Virtus anymore. So... But those guys, and of course, if you have a chance to play against Monaco, one of the greatest European players, si Spanoulis.
Yep.
So
Our first away game is against Monaco.
we know our EuroLeague. So
Yeah, so alam nila yan. The fact na nakalaro ko si Milos Teodosic might not have been
Saan ba siya, Red Star?
Red Star. The first game might not have been on the court together.
But
But
in
the fact na on paper your names are both on that.
pinagandaan ka niya, nag-scouting daw sila sa'yo.
Yung nga daw yung pinamatagal sa video room nila yung scouting ko. Pero
Yung-
joke lang. The fact na, alam mo yun, nag-warm up ka tapos nakatingin ka dun sa court ng kabila. Tapos hindi niya alam kung gaano kalaking moment. And for me,
I believe it.
it's crazy. Alam mo yun,
I believe it.
parang gusto ko umiyak ng warm up kasi tinitina ko na siya mag-warm up, parang naluluha na ako.